Hey,
Hi, Hugo.
hey,
Hey guys,
hi,
Hi, Friederike.
this
Thanks
is a
for.
very small scale community call.
Hi, Hugo.
hey.
Where are we live streaming this to?
Give me 1 second here. We are streaming this to YouTube Live and then across Discord.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Yeah, we changed up the format because on X, Twitter, you can't share slides.
Yeah.
Uh, but soon we'll stream to Twitter as well. Yeah, we'll get going here in just a second. Cool. I just wanted to make sure that the Polywrap team is here. Nestor, I think you're here.
Yeah, hello.
Okay, great. Awesome. All right, let's kick it off here. We have a fun call today. This is the GnosisDAO community call. Please note that the call is being recorded. And yeah, just remember to mute yourself if you're on the Zoom call. So yeah, today is the 14th of March. And here we go. So just some housekeeping. We'll go through events and talks. Then we'll go through a governance update. Gnosis Chain will talk about the Denkun upgrade that happened this week. And then we'll run through some ecosystem updates. And then the Polywrap team will join us for a demo. And first thing is DAppCon 2024. Please grab your tickets at dappcon.io. It happens on the 21st of May of this year, and it goes till the 23rd of May. It coincides with the Berlin Blockchain Week. And of course, DAppCon is hosted by Gnosis. It's a great developer conference for the Ethereum ecosystem. So yeah, grab your tickets today. In terms of events this year or in the near future for March and April, Gnosis will be at ETH Global London. We'll be at ETH Taipei, scaling Ethereum on April 5th to the 26th. We'll host Gnosis Ethereum meetup on April 18th in Berlin. And rounding out the month, we'll be at Token 2049 in Dubai and ETH Dubai. And if you'd like to take a further look at our events, just go over to gnosis.io and hit the events tab under community. All right. And now for some governance updates. We have Dr. Friederike Ernst joining us today to talk about a recent forum post that she published called Gnosis 3.0. So I'll hand it over to you, Friederike.
Yeah, hi guys. So Martin, Stefan, and I, the three founders of Gnosis, we sat down together and discussed how we see the future of Gnosis, and this is very much the synthesis of these meetings. So let me take you to the next slide, please. Yeah, so there are two major upgrades slash clarifications in how Gnosis is going to run. And they pertain to the Gnosis structure and the strategic focus. Okay, so basically, so far, we have been through Gnosis 1.0, that's the prediction market you all know and love. It's live. It's actually seeing a bit of a renaissance at the moment with AI trading. We linked to it in the GIP, so check it out. It's not actually a GIP; it's just a forum post. So check out the AI prediction markets, and then we started building lots of infrastructure for the wider Ethereum ecosystem. So that includes Gnosis Chain, obviously, but also infrastructure projects such as the Gnosis Safe, CowSwap, MEV blocker. We built an Ethereum client, Open Ethereum, for a while. Yeah, other undertakings such as Gnosis Auction, Gnosis Guild. So basically, it's very much infrastructure focused. And now comes Gnosis 3.0. And Gnosis 3.0 we actually see as a conglomerate of projects that are aligned by the GNO token. So in this graphic, you can see that the GNO token is very much at the center, and then obviously it's the staking token for Gnosis Chain. It doesn't govern Gnosis Chain as such, but it's a staking token. Gnosis Chain is, like Ethereum, is governed by a very wide variety of actors, starting from core dev, client developers, to validators, to RPC endpoint providers, the operators of major DEXs and other dApps and so on. Yeah, so basically, but GNO is the staking token here. GNO is also the voting token in the Gnosis DAO. The Gnosis DAO holds the majority of the Gnosis treasury. So this is also a very powerful mandate for the GNO token. And then lastly, it's going to be used for strategic and economic alignment of the projects that have been built with our help in the ecosystem. And those projects kind of fall into two buckets. Projects that kind of we built internally in one of the Gnosis companies. So projects like Safe and Cow and Gnosis Guild and Karpatki that have since spun out, as well as projects that are still in the venture studio. So Gnosis Pay, Circles, Wallet, Hashi, and Gnosis Labs. I'll talk about each of those for just a little while after the overview. So basically here, these projects should either use GNO as their fee token, or what we will do is we will set up so-called protocol-owned liquidity, so an AMM with the GNO token against the token that those projects use. What does that mean? It means that in principle, you couple the tokens together. So say when you have an AMM, a double-sided AMM with GNO and Safe tokens, for instance, if the Safe token goes up, it pulls the GNO token up with it. The GNO token goes up, pulls the Safe token up with it. If the Safe token goes down, pulls the GNO token down with it, and so on. So basically, it leads to a coupling of the tokens to a certain extent. The way that we see this going forward is that there will be a discussion thread on each of the aligned projects with on the forum with shared goals and incentives. We will periodically talk about how that's going to see whether everyone is still aligned and happy with the cooperation. And obviously, since these are liquid tokens, they can always be divested, or the investment can be increased, right? And in the same vein, we will do this with the VC holdings that Gnosis has. Gnosis has made investments in over 70 companies in the last 5 years, 50 of which are still going strong. They include gems like Gelato, Olas, The Graph, ZK Sync, Succinct, and many, many more. We actually published a full list on the forum. And here the same thing will be done. So for instance, Gnosis holds 50 million worth of Olas tokens. And these will be put up in an AMM against GNO, so that if Olas appreciates, this will be directly felt by the GNO token holder and the other way around. Yeah, that's kind of the way that the GNO token governs this entire ecosystem. And now talking about the strategic focus of the things we're currently building. We and a lot of the ecosystem have actually built core infrastructure for the past. Gnosis has been around for 9 years, right? So for that amount of time, just simply because we didn't have enough infrastructure and things were super bare bones. Now we actually have decent infrastructure. What we don't have is dApps that are actually used by real users. So more or less everyone who actually uses products in Web3 uses them because they're Web3, not because they're good products as such. And if our intention is to kind of make this ecosystem matter in the long run, we need to find things that we can build better than what is already out there. So the Web2 equivalents. And here we sat down and thought for a long time about what the lowest hanging fruit here would be. And funnily enough, we settled on payments and financial rails. Why is it funny? Because basically when Bitcoin came out, it said it was peer-to-peer electronic cash, right? So basically it's kind of like, and no one uses it as electronic cash. And basically, if you look at payments in Web3, the best example is probably Tether on Tron. So there's a lot of potential for growth here. And if you look at the financial infrastructure, the legacy financial infrastructure, you can also see that the system that all of our financial lives run on are ready for an overhaul. Basically, lots of it is still written in COBOL, and it's systems from today built on systems from the 2000s, built on systems from the 80s, and so on. If you were to set it up anew today, you would go about it completely differently. And we believe that you would heavily leverage a blockchain for financial rails. So we are strategically focusing on new financial rails and financial applications that make those new rails usable for regular users. That means bringing the advantages that we already have on chain today. So things like the things we take for granted in the global north, right? Like the ability to hold a dollarized account, or the ability to kind of take out a fully collateralized loan at a reasonable rate, or the ability to kind of to reap the SDAI savings rate, right? So all of those things we want to bring to people who haven't had access so far. And obviously this comes with several slants. So one is kind of integrations into the legacy system. So you can't just build a new system and say, look, I built a new system, use this. You need to make sure that it kind of coexists with the system that is, well, inefficient to a certain extent, but widely used. And Gnosis Pay makes sure of just that, basically building bridges between the legacy financial system and the on-chain world. So things like being able to spend self-custodial funds on the Visa network anywhere that Visa is accepted, or connecting an IBAN to your wallet, so you can send SEPA transactions directly into your wallet and also out of your wallet. Then we have Suckles, which is payments with a UBI, so unconditional basic income, and identity slant. Then we have Wallet. Wallet is something that we haven't properly announced yet. It is a way of kind of putting everything that we have built over the last 8 or so years together. So in the back, it is a safe, and in the front, it is a sleek on-chain neobank that kind of facilitates everything that you kind of do on Revolut today, and many more things that kind of Web3 actually gives you access to. We will launch this at DAppCon, so I'm leaking alpha here. That's end of May. It'll be fantastic. It'll use account abstraction and advanced cryptography to kind of make sure that you no longer have to deal with seed phrases. That dApps can leverage the fact that it's a smart wallet and make the user experience and kind of transaction sending much smoother. dApps can, in principle, abstract gas away from you, kind of subsuming that into their business model. Kind of like if you go to an average website today, they would never say, please pay these 2 cents. They are your portion of our AWS bill. It just kind of gets subsumed into the general business model. And then we have a unit in-house that's called Gnosis Labs. It's exactly what it sounds like. It sounds like it is a place for experimentation. So things that are not products yet, but could become products. Currently, it's filled with AI-related activity. And if you look at what's already happening on Gnosis Chain, a lot of it is AI-related and also payment-related, payments between different AIs. Then we also have third-party projects on Gnosis Chain that use Gnosis for payments and settlement. So Althea is a big example. Hopper is a big example. But also Autonolas. So payments are already happening on Gnosis. We are here to kind of grow that ecosystem, both by building ourselves and by investing, and by just making it a good place to be for payments infrastructure and payments dApps. If you're in the payments field, you want to get in touch, hit us up on Twitter, Discord, anywhere. Super happy to talk. And do we take questions on the community calls, John?
Unfortunately, no. There's only presenters on the call right now.
Okay, fantastic. Then no questions. I hope I answered all your questions. And if not, come to the Gnosis forum and ask me there.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for walking us through the Gnosis 3.0 roadmap and vision. And the blog post is live on Gnosis.io. It's also up on the forum. So please go take a look if you'd like a deeper dive into Gnosis 3.0. All right. Moving on here. Another quick update about Gnosis governance. Right now, GIP 93 is live. Should GnosisDAO support the integration of Hashi within Gnosis Chain's canonical bridges? And a quick summary of that GIP. The proposal presents the detailed plan for allocating funds towards integrating the Hashi protocol into Gnosis Chain's canonical bridges from Ethereum, namely the XDAI bridge and the AMB, on which the Omni bridge is built. And the Hashi team is on this call, and they'll, I'm sure, walk us through that GIP a little bit later. And let's jump into an update about Gnosis Chain. And I'll hand it over to, I think Igor is on the call.
Yeah, it's me. Yeah. Thanks, John. Hello, everyone, and congrats on the Dankun hard fork. So we hard forked on March 11, just 2 days before the Ethereum on Monday. And it makes us the first event chain that supports EIP 4844. And also this hard fork was the smoothest one that we had since our consensus deprecation. We had very high participation rate during the hard fork, and it means that validators done pretty decent job staying tuned and monitoring like updates and client updates that were like popping up during the hard fork preparation. So congrats everyone one more time. On the clients update side, the Nethermind team has released experimental client version with the SnapSync. And what SnapSync is in a short term, it's the way like specific type of syncing your node that makes the process way more faster, but it requires additional like effort to bring it to the chain. So currently we are testing it, and hopefully it will be available for Gnosis validators soon. Also, we made huge step forward for execution client support. Previously we had like a London related issue, and currently it's solved. And now client is able to sync up to the pre-Chapella state, and from that point it should be relatively easy to move forward and make it accessible for Gnosis validators. And on innovation side of things, some of our team members recently created sort of experimental creative way of using blob space. And this tool is called blob.fm, and it allows you to post arbitrary data on chain using the blob space. For example, it may be memes or audio data. And as far as I know, audio streaming is coming soon. And also, last but not least, I have small news regarding Shutter protocol. So currently, Shutter team is working on integration of the protocol parts together. And in a couple of weeks, they should release first like test version of validator node for Shutter protocol. And I guess that's all that I have. Thanks, John. Back to you.
Cool. Thank you, Igor. And yeah, big congrats to the Gnosis core dev team for a successful Denkun upgrade on Monday. And there is information about the Shutter network up on the Gnosis.io blog. So again, yeah, please check that out. And let's jump into some ecosystem updates. We have Jorge from the Safe team on the call.
Hey everyone, thanks John. Couple of quick updates from the Safe team. The first being that SafeCon #2 is happening in Berlin again this year. We're doing it alongside and coinciding with Berlin Blockchain Week and DAppCon. So please join us, come hear about everything related to smart account adoption and building. So especially if you're interested in the account abstraction space or anything that might be involved with building on top of the Safe core SDK, protocol, contracts, etc. Please go to con.safe.global to get your tickets. It's a free event. We have some amazing sponsors that are hosting us. So yeah, looking forward to seeing you all there. Secondly, the world and explosion of smart accounts, 4337, all of these hot topics are being talked about extensively in the ecosystem. And we thought it would be interesting to do a data-driven approach to understand what retention looks like for smart accounts generally across the ecosystem. So we just published the latest findings from this research on blog.safe.global. It's our new blog, and we actually found some pretty interesting things regarding the adoption and specifically retention of smart accounts across different standards. So I won't give you a spoiler alert, or a spoiler, but you'll have to check out the blog to actually check out the details. So please check out the blog for that. And finally, as some of you may have seen on the forum across the Safe ecosystem, we just put up a proposal for our token utility program, which is the last remaining SCP and proposal that needs to be voted on before transferability can happen for the Safe token. So I'm excited to see that on Snapshot and reaching quorum pretty quickly. So based on that forum excitement and also other discussions, I won't say more, but definitely, stay tuned to Safe on Twitter and X. So x.com/safe is where you can find the latest on what we'll be releasing in terms of product and other announcements in the near future. So stay tuned. With that, I'll kind of hand it back over to John. And yeah, thanks for having us today.
Yeah, thank you, Jorge. Exciting times for the Safe team and Safe ecosystem, and yeah, excited for the next few months. And I'll hand it over to Georgios for an update about Hashi.
Thanks, John. Yeah, as you mentioned in the beginning of the call, this is the new GIP, which is till tomorrow open for voting and feedback. It's about integrating Hashi on the Gnosis chain canonical bridges, both the EXI bridge and the AMB Omni bridge. High level description here of the protocol is that it will increase the security and the future proofness of the Gnosis bridges by adding ZK Lite clients and any other kind of messaging bridge as a security provider of the bridges. As people may know right now, the Gnosis bridges are secured by a decentralized but permissioned kind of set of validators, and we're looking to change that. And this will help, I believe, a lot to implement the whole vision that also Friederike mentioned before, with a strong infrastructure and connection to Ethereum. Everything will be a lot better and a lot more confidence to the users. A little bit on the timeline, which is what I'm showing here, is that the snapshot will start next week and it will run till 2nd of April. So yeah, after the forum feedback and vote, the snapshot will follow, and then the project will have 4 phases. The first phase, which will run until June, will be about the actual implementation and the design. Then until August, we plan to have everything audited along with a proper migration plan, and this will be around September that we plan to do the migration and go live with this new solution. Of course, the phase 4 is about the guarded, loud, and safe safeguards lifting, just to take extra precautions here, since the Gnosis bridges at the moment secure around 900 million of funds. So yeah, that's about it. Quite exciting to see this going to snapshot next week and hopefully passing. And yeah, that's all from my side. John, back to you.
Great. Yeah, and look out for some Hashi announcements coming soon across our channels. And now I'm going to hand it over to the Polywrap team. Polywrap leverages AI agents to make peer-to-peer protocols easier to use, compose, and integrate into powerful applications. And Polywrap is currently building on Gnosis chain. So I'm going to hand it over to the team. If you guys could introduce yourselves and then jump into it, that would be great. And you can share your screen. So let me stop sharing here.
Okay, amazing. Thanks, John. I'm gonna share my screen now. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, is it visible?
Yeah, it looks great.
Okay, amazing. So I'm Nestor from Polywrap, And as you all mentioned, we want to talk to you on what we have been building towards a grand vision of ours, which is scaling protocol intelligence with Web3 agents. We have been building in the Web3 ecosystem for a while, especially around the part of improving accessibility for protocol participation. And we have now been focusing on leveraging the latest AI technologies and techniques. And we have been working closely with our friends at Gnosis Labs in order to realize some interesting applications and products in order to build, towards this future that we see. So when I say vision and when I say scaling protocol intelligence with Web3 agents, what do I mean? So at Polywrap, we believe that the next billion users of Web3 are not going to be humans interacting directly with Web3 protocols, right? Instead, humans would interact with Web3 protocols through the usage of AI agents. These AI agents would analyze on-chain and off-chain data. They would analyze user preferences. They would scout, find, and act on new opportunities. They would create and plan and execute transactions on the user behalf. And therefore, through the usage of AI, way more powerful and easier user experience would be being unlocked for Web3. And this is not only interesting for the end user, who now has more capability and an easier experience, but it is also interesting for Web3 protocols, because protocols would need to create, maintain, and nurture a healthy ecosystem of agents in order to attract and retain the users that would otherwise would not have the time or the expertise or either in order to participate. Therefore, this would improve the accessibility towards Web3 protocol participation up to a point where, ideally, protocols would broaden their audience from a select group of professionals and experts into a true more mass audience. So this sounds interesting, but how do you actually get there, right? Like, what is it that you need to build, and where do you start? So we thought that the way that we would start building towards this would be through building solid agent tooling first. And then we would try to bring this solid tooling into the Web3 ecosystem. So we started by entering the AutoGPT Arena Hacks, which was AutoGPT's hackathon of last year. And that's where we created our first AI agent. The hackathon was about this. It was about building generalist agents that could execute different tasks across these 4 different categories: synthesis, research, coding, and data analysis. And for this purpose, we built Evo Ninja. What's interesting about Evo Ninja and what makes it different to other agents that you may know about, it's its chameleon architecture. What the chameleon architecture means is that instead of having what you have now with Crew AI or with AutoGen, which are very popular frameworks right now for building AI agents, the difference between those and Evo Ninja is that AutoGen and Crew have multiple. They instantiate multiple agent instances that communicate with each other in order to collectively solve user goals. Whereas with Evo Ninja, there are no multiple agent instances. There is a single agent instance. And on demand, based on the task at hand, he changes his system prompts, his tools, his personality overall. So the way that Evo Ninja works is, at first it gets a goal, it breaks it apart into subtasks. For each subtasks, it chooses the best persona with the best system prompts and the best tools in order to achieve that task. It loads it into its own instance, contextualizes the chat, and executes. So This architecture proved to work very well. Not only did Evaninja win the AutoGPT hackathon, but it was named the best AutoGPT agent. And currently, if you go to the AutoGPT GitHub in the README, you will find this, and you will find a link to check out the agent in Evaninja. So everything that I described about its architecture, you don't need to remember by heart. We have a comprehensive README on how it works, and it's open source, so you'll be able to take a look at the code yourselves. The reason why I explained this, it's because now that we have agent tools and we have discovered some patterns and implementations that work very well, now we bring it back into Web3. So we formulated the hypothesis of what if we took Evaninja's research capabilities and used it to augment its forecasting skills. And therefore, the first use case that we could apply our Polywrap build agents for Web3 would indeed be prediction markets. So in collaboration with Gnosis Labs and contributions with Olas, we built a spin-off of Evaninja called EvoProfit. So EvoProfit is an AI agent, and you give him a binary yes or no question about a future outcome. Like, for example, will Twitter implement a new misinformation policy before the end of 2024? And what it does at a high level is that it gives you a numerical probability of that outcome happening and a confidence score. He achieves this by going through this pipeline here. I won't go into the very specific details of how this pipeline works, but you can check out predictionprofit.ai, which is the application that we have published very recently in order to make EvoProfit accessible to the public, so that you could check it out yourselves. And after some testing that we conducted with our friends at Gnosis Labs, we took a sample of prediction market questions from Manifold, and we evaluated them against the predictions that EvoProfit would make on those questions. And assuming that currently Manifold markets are making correct predictions, then EvoProfit would be actually generating a tangible profit of around 8%. Of course, like, this is all very preliminary and early evaluations, and this varies across different factors that you need to take into account, because EvoProfit bases its prediction on research that it does online. If we go back to the pipeline, EvoProfit searches on the web for different queries that it generates from the user's question. It then scrapes all of that information, sanitizes it, aggregates it, then it filters it to only get the relevant parts. Then it uses it to generate an evidence report. And then it uses multi-agent debate, which is a novel AI technique, in order to analyze that report to generate predictions. So if you see that, you will understand that the quality of the information sources that EvoProfit consults heavily impacts the accuracy and the quality of the prediction that it makes in the end. So these early evaluations, these early benchmarks, they look very, very promising. And we expect to keep iterating on it and keep building on it along with Gnosis Labs. And it's currently accessible here on predictionprofit.ai. So this doesn't end here. This isn't the only agent that we have built to mediate interaction with Web3 protocols. We have also built I'm sorry. We have also formulated other different hypotheses for this matter. And the next one is, Evoprofit's research and evaluation capabilities are good. So what if we could not only leverage them for forecasting, but we could also use them to make more intelligent resource allocation decisions. So we created Fund Public Goods, the AI, and we created our agent EvoSage. So EvoSage is the agent, and Fund Public Goods AI is the application that it is accessible through. And the use case here is public goods funding. So if you go to the site, we have essentially taken and aggregated and sanitized and normalized a lot of Gitcoin data. We have created embeddings for them, and we have prepared a pipeline so that when users arrive to Fund Public Goods AI, they could type a topic of their interest, like for example, EIPs here. And EvoSage would go forth and search for all relevant EIPs projects. It would get information on them. It would evaluate them. It would score them across different categories. It would list them, and then it would prepare for the user a resource allocation strategy. So if the user wants to donate, like let's say X amount of USDC or ETH or whatever, across projects for a specific cause that he wants to support, he just needs to type it here, and then EvoSage would be in charge of the searching, of the evaluation, and of the creation of this resource allocation strategy, as you're seeing it here. So what are the plans for the future? We have different use cases in our pipeline, but a glimpse into the very near future of what we have been working on very, very recently is called AutoTX. AutoTX is an agent that specializes on planning, creating, and executing complex or simple sequences of transactions, and it works. It works currently on top of Safe. So this will be an agent that you will be able to hook up your Gnosis Safe to, and it will be able to take goals from the user and create transactions on your Gnosis Safe. And yes, I think that that's a good summary of what we've been working on, and on the relevant bits towards the future and what we have been building with Gnosis. I hope that you have found that helpful.
Cool. Thank you so much, Nestor, for that informative presentation. And yeah, would you like to direct everyone to like your website, or do you have any upcoming events that you'd like to share?
Oh, sure. So I would encourage you to visit Polywrap.io. In there you will find, and their GitHub. In there you will find a list of the products that I just mentioned. And since our products are open source, if you go into each link, you will be able to find a comprehensive README, the applications that I listed, and you will be able to check out the code and test it on your own.
Cool. We have one question from Discord. It's a when token.
So yeah, it's a good question. We will get back to you on that one.
Nice. We're a little bit over time. I'll ask you one quick question. Why spend your time on prediction markets? I mean, I always like to give a high level explanation of why prediction markets matter, because I think it can be lost on people. But yeah, would love to hear from you why you feel like prediction markets and AI agents are a good fit, and why spend your time building on that.
So we think that prediction markets are a very interesting tool because of the incentive and disincentive structures that they have in order to make actually relevant predictions on tangible future outcomes that people may be interested on. Because since people have an economic incentive to make the correct prediction, and they have an economic disincentive or punishment for making the wrong predictions, or making uninformed predictions, we think it's actually a powerful tool for communities. And why building AI agents? It's because it's hard to navigate across the vast amounts of information that exists on the web, and curating that information, aggregating that information, and scouring through the multiple sources and contrasting the sources. It's a very hard, long process. So we thought that with AI agents, we could potentially have the same power in terms of the tooling of the protocol, but a better level of accessibility and lower difficulty in order to access them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure. My like, quick elevator pitch about why prediction markets matter is, in a world of increasing complexity, which obviously is the world we live in with all the intractable geopolitical problems that we face and, climate change, that it's increasingly more difficult to manage risk. And a prediction market is basically, sourcing information from the crowd, and allowing us to make better predictions about the future.
Completely. Yeah, I completely agree with that.
And, of course, AI agents are probably more willing to participate in those prediction markets than human beings because of, a number of reasons that probably will keep us on this call for too long. But thank you so much, Nestor, for your time. And yeah, again, you can visit the Polywrap team at, is it polywrap.io?
Yeah, polywrap.io.
And we will talk to you soon. Thank you so much, Nestor.
All right. Thank you, John.
Thank you, everyone, for your time. Please come visit the Gnosis Chain Discord or the forum. And our links are up here if you're interested in our stats or if you're interested in becoming a validator. And we will see you on chain. The Gnosis DAO, community call happens once a month. It's always on the second Thursday of each month at 4 p.m. UTC. So we will see you back here next month in April. Take care, everyone. Thank you so much.